if you could pick one modern Marvel comic book to make the young ones get into that medium, pick Ultimate X-Men Issue 1. Hi everybody, and welcome to yet another video, and welcome to yet another review video, my dear friends. I really needed to check out a proper, modern, mainstream, contemporary Marvel comic book, as of course a lot of people out there on the internet are mostly criticizing it, mostly saying, oh, the modern Marvel is no good, and there is no future for it, and we should turn away and just read as far as the graphic novel medium, as far as American graphic novel medium or comic book medium, just read the independent stuff. And I said to myself, well, I can't really believe that. I know that there needs to be a good Marvel comic book, and even though I've always been, as far as the American comic book scene, I've mainly been a Dark Horse guy or a DC Comics guy, I do love the X-Men. My favorite is the 80s and the 90s X-Men and the New Mutants, as written by Chris Claremont, as written by Louis Simonson, illustrated by Brett Blevins. I absolutely loved that. Now, I haven't been into more of the modern Marvel comic books for a long time. The last one I really enjoyed was House of X and Empires of 10. Couple of years ago by Jonathan Hickman. I did enjoy that. The series that came after that was trash, and I dropped it after a couple of issues. However, the Ultimate line that was released recently, which is another Ultimate line, there was an Ultimate line like 20 years ago, should take us into an alternative universe that ideally should attract modern readers, not modern in the sense of the word that all the bloody YouTubers are saying, oh, woke, no, just if you want to make funny pages in America, ideally you should aim for younger audiences, right? Now, old farts like you and me, we can go back and buy omnibuses of the old stuff that the young kiddies really don't enjoy. And what they did here is right, is very right, and I did enjoy it, and I'm going to get into it. So, it is The Ultimate X-Men, Issue 1, written and illustrated by Peach Momoko, the Japanese artist. And right from the get-go, I can see a couple of things done right. Firstly, it is done by one person, and that's usually better, both written and illustrated. And by the way, this is a little intro to what the Ultimate Universe is about. You can just stop it if you want. So we are establishing that there was this multiverse shift. The maker made a new multiverse, and that's where the Ultimate Universe is set. And then we've got the credits, Peach Momoko, and then we start. So what they did right is to choose a very skilled and very hardworking and very talented artist. As you can see, all this is drawn by hand. Now, I'm not an expert in art, but this looks to me like it was watercolors, all drawn by hand. Really looks... Let me know in the comments down below if it is watercolors or not, but I think it is. And the story revolves around a young girl, who has just went through middle school graduation. Her name is Hisako. And she gets into a conversation with her friend. She tells her that a boy gave her a second button, and that means that, he really likes her. And then she finds a note in that button which says, meet me somewhere at the temple behind the school. And there's this dark figure behind her. So she goes there, and she finds out that the one who sent her the note is this. And by the way, she sees like an apparition of somebody. We don't know who it is. We will know later on. This strange, dark character, shrouded in shadows, alluding to the past, to a friend of hers, right? That is not around anymore. And he gives her this token, this totem, this little button. And once again, this alludes to her past. And this little button was given to her by a friend, Tsubasa, which is the friend who has perished, the dead friend. And so she goes through all these flashbacks, and then this character, the dark character, alludes to that, and they have a little chat. And he says that, oh, it was all your fault that he perished, and that they didn't help him because apparently he wanted to kill himself for a long time. And then the dark character says, I quit running from my problem. My eyes are open. The time for sorrow is over. Now it is the time for vengeance. Right? And then he disappears. Right? And then she sees like a ghost of her dead friend. And then she like drives or rides back on her bicycle. She rides home, and she almost gets hit by a car. And then this huge construct that looks like a samurai demon warrior saves her. Look at that. Look at all these colors. Look at the art. And so this looks as if this was her powers. So she might be a mutant or not. And if she is a mutant, her power is being able to summon a construct guardian that looks like a samurai. And so the next day, she sees on the news that a car was wrecked, and that a driver was trying to avoid a little girl, but the little girl was nowhere to be found. Yada yada. And the rest you will have to find out for yourselves. I will not show you the entire comic book to avoid copyright strike. And of course, I don't want to spoil it all. So, the things done right and the things done wrong about in this comic book. So, the character is very well established. Apart from, of course, it being drawn and written very well. The dialogues, I mean. All the panels are very, very well done, very dynamic. It's not just, like characters standing with one straight angle just chatting with each other. It's actually very, very few lines of dialogue here, which I think is good for a comic book medium like this. You don't want really like paragraphs upon paragraphs upon paragraphs of text. I read novels for that. If I read comic book, I want a moderate amount of text. Now, what is also done right is the character is very well established. The story is very well established. We know what the story is. We know who the main character is. We know what we are reading about. But at the same time, there is mystery. We want to know more. We get to the end of this issue, like 30 pages. We want to get the second issue. This is the model of, the American comics. They are periodicals. They come out each month or so. And so you buy an issue every month, and you should ideally be looking forward to the next one. This works. This is done right. What is also done right is that this is absolutely something that the younger people today would enjoy. It's very Japanese style. It's not, I would say, manga style per se. Obviously not. This is still written and illustrated as if it was written for an American comic book. But Peach Momoko being Japanese, it is obviously has got very, very manga vibes. And what is also done right is that it really starts anew. You don't need to know anything about X-Men. And that's the one negative that could potentially be considered a negative. The Ultimate X-Men issue 1 seems as if it had nothing to do with X-Men. There are no X-Men in this. There are no mutants in this. There are no... But, given the Ultimate Universe of 2024, if I remember correctly, is supposed to go that all the superpowers... all the superheroes have lost their origins. So the superheroes aren't the superheroes anymore. If I can remember correctly from what I've heard, the Ultimate Spider-Man, Peter Parker in the Ultimate Spider-Man issue 1, in this line, is not Spider-Man anymore. He's a 35-year-old man, married to Mary Jane. He's got 2 kids. He will become Spider-Man eventually, I think, but not in issue 1. So, this is one gripe that potentially, X-Men fans could have. But then again, Marvel Comics, they put out like 10 X-Men comic books a month. So I don't think that this is a huge problem, considering who the target audience should be, which is bloody attract new readers. If you can't make old farts like me happy, then attract new audience. And you made me happy with this comic book, and you will most certainly make young audiences happy. Now, one final thought, and it's all revolved around the fact that apparently, that which we have been complaining about for a long time, that, Marvel, they are deconstructing the characters and things like that. Well, there is deconstruction, and there are more ways that you can present the characters. It's very nuanced. If the story is well written and if the story is well drawn, you can write the characters in new and unexpected ways. You can put them through new journeys. I think that the core of the characters, who they are and who they have always been, the established characters, should be kept forever. They can be put through new trials and tribulations. They can be put through new tests and new stories that will and should be presented to audiences in new and unexpected and very refreshing ways. If I want to read 80s and 90s Marvel comics about X-Men, I don't need the modern creators to make them this way. I will go back and read the old comics. They will never be surpassed this way. If I want new stories, I want those new stories be told about new characters and in an original and new way. This is precisely that. This is a new original character. It is a new original story which eventually will be set in the X-Men universe and the Ultimate X-Men universe, and it will all click and all be put together. Now, from the point of view of a European, this is my biggest gripe with this and with American comics in general. The issues are too short. The issues are way too short. In Europe, we are used to getting the comic books right away, all of them, collected in albums, le bande dessinée. We write and draw full graphic novels, full stories. So you have the full story in one book, usually, so that you can read it. You don't have to wait a month for another issue of that said periodical. And as far as manga goes, yes, they are published in magazines first, and those short chapters are voted for by the audiences, and then they are collected into the Tenkoban volumes. But the production is much faster, and the action is usually in any genre really so swift that you just fly through the issue and you don't even know how. And then I think that they come out more regularly than just once a month or twice, like once 2 months. And so the Japanese audiences, as far as manga goes, they get their issues much, much, much quicker than that. And so this is what I'm talking about. The American comics are way too short, and they come out with too big of gaps between each of the individual issues. So if a story is 6 issues long, you read this one story for half a year. I am sure, 100% sure, when this is collected, when this story arc is finished and collected, and when I get it and read it all in one sitting, I will enjoy it 100 times more than I will enjoy reading it issue by issue by issue. So the finishing thoughts are, I absolutely do recommend Ultimate X-Men issue 1. Just do not expect Wolverine snickety-snicktying around throughout the issue. No. Expect a very mysterious, very well written and very well illustrated story that will, most certainly, attract the attention of the young audience and more mature audience today. Because the story itself seems to be good, and it's very well drawn and very well written. And that is what you need from a work of art. So, let me know in the comments down below what you think. And that'll be all. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm out of here.